Hey YouTubers, it's me, Lonnie Clark, Nuts for Art, and I am back again. We're reading from the Citizens Radiation Data Map of Japan. You can see the back of it. And we're on page 5. And I want to thank everybody for the positive feedback, and I want to thank Tony Sahara, who sent me this booklet and is actually reposting my readings on Facebook, which is something I completely forgot to do. I just haven't really thought about, I always forget, maybe it's because I'm a boomer and I don't really think about the internets. So anyways, I want to thank everybody who's sharing this information because it really does need to be shared. So we're on page 5, and the subtitle of it says, the beginning subtitle says, "What is the East Japan Soil Becquerel Measurement Project?" As a result of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident on March 11, 2011, an extensive area of eastern Japan was exposed to radiation. From 2012 to 2013, a citizens group called Soil Research Project Iwate collected soil samples and conducted measurements of radioactive soil contamination from over 300 locations in Iwate Prefecture. In order to grasp the full extent of soil contamination in eastern Japan, Mina no data site, I guess Mina no means everyone's data site because they have everyone's data site in parentheses. So Mina no data. So I guess we learned a Japanese word, guys. Mina no means everybody. Anybody who speaks Japanese can actually confirm that in the comments. But from here, I'll show you. It's like, where is it? It's right there. See how they have right after it, everybody's data site? So I think it means everybody's data site, Mina no data site. I digress, I know. Okay, in order to grasp the full extent of soil contamination in eastern Japan, Mina no data site, everyone's data site, started the Eastern Japan Soil Becquerel Measurement Project in 17 prefectures in eastern Japan, where the Japanese government was carrying out radiation testing of agricultural produce. DataSite adopted the method used by Soil Research Project Iwate, which was to directly measure the amount of radioactive material in becquerels per kilogram. From October 2014 to September 2017, over 4,000 citizens collected soil samples from over 3,400 locations with the goal of measuring radioactive cesium in the soil and visually showing these results on a map of eastern Japan. Period of the project was October 14th to September 17th. Targeted areas, 17 prefectures in eastern Japan. Free measurements took place from the start of the project to the end of 2017. Since then, measurement laboratories have been charging a flat fee of 2,000 yen, about $18 per measurement. That's pretty cheap, actually. It's probably cheaper for us here in America to collect our soil and ship it to Japan and send them the $18 and pay for the shipping than it is to get it done in the States, because I think here it's when I looked into it, it's no less than $500 to get it really done right. So okay, let's get back to this. These are the prefectures. I think I read them to you the other day, so I'll say them again. Aomori, Iwate, Akita, Miyagi, Yamagata, Fukushima, Ibaraki, Tochigi, Gunma, Saitama, Chiba, Tokyo, Kanagawa, Yamanashi, Nagano, Shizuoka, and Niigata. so you can tell I don't speak Japanese. Iwate Prefecture measurements began in 2012 by a group called Soil Research Project Iwate. Background of this project. What prompted Minano Data Site to initiate this labor-intensive project? It is not as if there were no data issued by the government or other authorities, which measured the quantity of becquerels in the soil using standardized processes. However, most of this data was not useful to citizens because of the way it was collected. For example, much of the data came from limited areas, such as one sample taken every several kilometers. In addition, farm soil samples were taken at a depth of 15 centimeters, which does not show the contamination at the surface of the ground. Wow. Furthermore, much of the data was merely estimated using a formulated Furthermore, much of the data was merely estimated using a formula which referenced the air dose rates measured by airplane. We talked about that yesterday. Here, I'll show you the picture. Measured by airplane. How ridiculous is that? That's not really measuring, that's guessing. It's intentionally deceiving the public. That's what that is. I think I'm stuttering on this thing that the farmland that they actually measured, the farm soils were taken at a depth of 15 centimeters. They didn't even look at the ground, the surface of the ground. That sentence made my brain stutter, I'll tell you what. Citizens wanted answers to questions such as, where is it safe for our children to play? Or what is the actual level of contamination around our homes? The lack of answers to these questions made many people uneasy and led to the decision to carry out the East Japan Soil Becquerel Measurement Project. While it was still possible to detect cesium-134, which has a relatively short half-life. By doing so, we were able to determine the amount of contamination brought about by the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident. Soil Research Project Iwate is a model project. When initiating the Eastern, I can't read and look up and hold this up, so I'm going to have to constantly have my head down, and I apologize for that. When initiating the East Japan Soil Becquerel Measurement Project, DataCite referenced research which has been extensively conducted by Soil Research Project Iwate from 2012 to 2013 in Iwate Prefecture. I should have flattened my hair. It bugs me like this. In this project, a laboratory based in Nagoya called C-Labo and a citizens group based in Iwate called Project Children from Radiation Exposure Iwate planned and promoted the project together with the cooperation of 3 citizens measurement laboratories. Save Child Iwate from Iwate Prefecture, Kanagasaki from Iwate Prefecture, and Chiisaki Hana from Miyagi Prefecture. The aim of the project was to get at least one sample from each and every municipality in Iwate Prefecture. The mothers involved in the project chose locations which were of concern to them, such as parks in the southern part of the prefecture, and in total they carried out soil measurements in 316 different locations. In the end, they compiled a color-coded map which was titled Radiation Contamination Map of all Iwate Prefecture. Save Child Iwate withdrew from DataCite in May 2018. Standardizing the sampling method became key to success. Before the start of East Japan Soil Measurement Project, citizens brought in many soil samples, and the various participating laboratories carried out numerous measurements. However, it soon became apparent that the soil samples had been taken from different depths, and that the details about where the samples were taken were not necessarily clear. For this reason, it was not possible to widely compare the results with each other. With the start of the project, we insisted on standardizing the sampling method, and by doing so, it became possible to obtain a valid method which could be compared with the data collected by MEXT, which is the Japanese Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology, or data that had been collected after the Chernobyl nuclear accident. Thus, only soil samples taken using the following standardized methods were admitted as part of the project sample. That's pretty good. So I'm going to show you this first and then I'll read it, because they show what people see, the pictures. You can see this is what the people were doing. It's pretty interesting how they created their own map. Number 1, how to select a sampling spot. If you have an air dosimeter, check the air dose of the surrounding area. Avoid hot spots where the air dose is extremely high, and select a sampling point where the soil has not been replaced, covered, or cleaned. That's funny. They refer to that dug up area as cleaned dirt. 2, be sure to make notes in your field notebook. Make detailed notes about the landscape, geographical conditions, and surrounding environment. When examining the data at a later date, these notes will be the only clues available. Number 3, measuring the air dose if possible. Measure the air dose of the sampling point at 2 points, 5 centimeters above ground and 1 centimeter above ground, and record this data from your field notebook along with the model type of your air dosimeter. 4, obey the unified sampling depth of 5 centimeters. Take the surface soil at the depth of exactly 5 centimeters and collect slightly more than 1 liter of soil. This is the same depth used in samples in Chernobyl and by MEXT. You will get a higher figure if you take only highly contaminated surface soil, whereas if you take deeper uncontaminated soil, the figure will be relatively lower. After collecting the soil, place it inside 2 plastic bags and insert a control slip with the sampling location written on it between the 2 bags. Number 5, sift and dry the soil before measurement. Before measuring the soil, either the person taking the sample or someone at the measurement laboratory must sift and dry the soil to remove any impurities. So that's what this person on the bottom, I think that's what they were doing. See, let's see, it's backwards, isn't it? See, they're sifting. It's pretty interesting. Working to improve the accuracy of soil measurement. Most of the citizen measurement laboratories oh Lord, I do not know how to say this word, so it's going to take me a minute. Most of the citizens measurement laboratories use now scintillation detectors using sodium iodine. When using this type of detector, depending on the make of the detector, the measurements results can be affected if there are low levels of radioactive cesium and high levels of naturally present radioactive materials. Therefore, for the implementation of this project, we developed and implemented an accuracy control method in order to ensure the accuracy of the soil measurements. First, a test sample was prepared by mixing together contaminated soil from Fukushima Prefecture with uncontaminated soil from the Chugoku region of southern Japan, which contains high amounts of natural radioactive materials such as uranium, thorium, and their daughter radionuclides. Then this test soil sample was measured using all the detectors, and measurement data was analyzed so as to determine a method to judge whether or not the natural radioactive materials were intervening in the measurement results. Over the course of a year, the judgment criteria for when to carry out data corrections was established, with the goal of publishing more accurate measurement results. With the funds from a grant from the Tagaki Fund for Citizen Science, the project to improve and examine the accuracy of the measuring of radioactive cesium concentration by Nal scintillator examined and verified each detector using both high concentration and low volume samples and low concentration samples. How to deal with hotspots. In the project, hotspots were excluded from the collection target in order to compare the relative contamination of each area on the map. On the other hand, interspersed hotspots from various places could not be ignored. Wow. Where am I reading? I have to put this pretty close to my eyes, so I'm sorry about that, guys. So a sub-project entitled Environmentally Concentrated Becquerel Measurement Project was established, and we requested the assistance of a citizens group called Hotspot Investigators for Truth, or HIT, to carry out hotspot measurements. The results of this project have been categorized into 12 different patterns of hotspots, and the actual measurements results have been published on our website, which is https://en.minanods, which is minanods.net/soil/hotspot.html. Oh Lord, I think, let's see, feels like I've been reading a little while. My head's getting dizzy from thinking about it. Oh Lord, it's 17 minutes. That is why. I definitely don't have the science brain. This is about as much as I can take. This is why I had to take all the easy science class in college. Okay, you guys. Well, I'm going to get back at this again tomorrow night. I guess tonight is the third reading. And I want to thank everybody for sharing and listening to this information. And I want to thank the citizens of Japan for organizing and creating this little thing. And I really want to thank Tony Sahara for sending this to me. So put your courage feet on, you guys. Remember, happiness is resistance and love is greater than fear. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.